health care through her job, but she lost it. She didn't qualify for Medicaid because the state told her she made too much money on her job, so she fell through the cracks. Her death was preventable. If the ACA had been in place then, we may still have her today. My family and I fought hard to make sure no one ever has to go through the same pain me and my grandkids go through now.
Thank you.
Woo! If the Medicaid expansion existed when my daughter was sick, she would have received the care she needed, and she might be here today. Representatives Reichert and Newhouse, you are not standing for our communities. If you repeal the ACA, it won't just be the 110,000 people enrolled in the Medicaid expansion in your 2 districts who are hurt. It will be everyone, and that means the Republicans also. They need to be listening. The final thing I want to say is this. Our tax dollars, they pay for members of Congress and their families to get the best health care for free. You should not be getting your health care for free while you are cutting the rest of the world's health care. If we are about to lose our health care, then so should you, Reichert and Newhouse. And be fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Nobody should ever have to go through what you went through, but the unfortunate truth is that too many Americans are having to face life and death decisions because of lack of access to health care. And in Washington State, we know that almost 800,000 working people will lose their health insurance through Medicaid if this bill passes. And what's worse, what the Republicans aren't telling us is that so they can give tax breaks to millionaires. What do you think about that? $100 million in tax breaks to insurance executives. Is that more important than our health care?
No!
I didn't think so. All right, so up next we've got Robbie Stern from the Puget Sound Alliance for Retired Advocates for Retired Action.
It's a mouthful. So one of the things that, there's so many things that are terrible about this health care proposal, including eliminating the Medicaid expansion, the cuts that will inevitably happen for people who go into nursing homes and for their families to try and deal with that difficult time in their life. But one thing I want to make sure everyone knows, our organization is fighting to make sure that Medicare and Social Security, but in this case Medicare, are not only here for the present generation, but for the future generation. Those of you who are out here who are going to get old, I promise you, I hope I want you to. But we want to make sure that Medicare and Social Security are here for you. Now what this law does is it takes $345 billion out of the Medicare trust fund. And who does it give it to? It gives it to people who earn over $250,000 a year. That's who it goes to. That's what they do. Just for a little history on this, the Affordable Care Act was able to extend the life of the Medicare Trust Fund by imposing a 0.9% income tax on millionaires and billionaires who earn over $250,000 a year. That tax extended the life of the Medicare Trust Fund for an additional 6 years, and it was going to continue to do that. Now, what they've done with this bill, if they've eliminated that tax, and by repealing that tax, that means that $345 billion that was going into the Medicare Trust Fund every year is not going to be going into, which means that the Medicare Trust Fund is losing somewhere between 3 and 6 years of the ability to continue paying Medicare. It's important for folks to understand how pernicious and how much in favor of the 1% this legislation is. Now, it's not just that. It's the attack on Medicaid. It's the attack on the subsidy for people that are lost in the state. All of those things are at risk. And it's all at risk because they want to give money to the richest people in this society. We have to fight like hell to stop this. We have to fight like hell to stop this. So Puget Sound Advocates for Retirement Action is going to carry on this fight, and we're so glad to have so many other people in this fight with all of us together. We're building a movement, and we're going to win.